The focus was around how to get alignment at scale. And what that means is when you have a bunch of teams, how do you create conditions that enable them to kind of move in the same direction and not stumble over each other? I used kind of making soup as a metaphor. You need some ingredients, and the ingredients in this case were a shared purpose. So everybody needs to have the same picture of why we're here, what are we trying to solve. And another ingredient was transparency, that we all need to see what the heck is going on, both here and with the neighboring teams and with the customers. We need a feedback loop, so each team needs to be able to see the consequence of their actions on the end result. And let's see what else. Yeah, shared priorities, a shared list of priorities. We can't have one team operating on one set of priorities and another team operating on another set of priorities. Then we'll sub-optimize and stumble into each other. And the last one was organizational learning. So there needs to be some way where we can keep learning and keep improving, but also spreading that knowledge across between the teams. That this stuff doesn't happen automatically. You need people that actually put effort into this. We could call them leaders, for example. So the idea that these different ingredients that you need to have in place, you need somebody, whatever you call it, or whether you call it the chief product owner or the project leader or head honcho, whatever you call it, you need somebody who is focusing on creating an environment that enables alignment to happen. And that includes things like communicating the purpose really clearly, creating structures in place that enable feedback, etc. I think I would say don't get too caught up in rules. Like all these different agile methods and frameworks, they come with some concrete practices and rules. And that's very useful in the beginning when you're kind of new and you want to get started. But don't be afraid to shed the rules. It's like shedding the training wheels off a bike. Because there's no right or wrong. Whatever works in your environment is, keep experimenting. So think of the different rule books as guidelines and not rules. Remember that it's not about software. Software is just, nobody wants software. Software is just a necessary evil. If people could have their problems solved without software, they'd be all the happier. So remember that if you're in software, software is just one small piece of the whole puzzle. And as part of that, also realize that the Agile principles are very useful in a much wider context. One pattern I see is that it's spreading to like HR and sales and management teams. And so yeah, keep fanning the flames and spread these concepts because they're powerful. And I'd also like to give out a big thanks to Barry and the JCSE folks for making this whole thing happen.